Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. I know I don't necessarily make videos on a regular basis anymore, but I just heard about something that Sony's doing. And given that I actually am a Sony system owner, this is, for those wondering what game this is Rise of the Ronin from 2024 by Team Ninja. It's basically Ghost of Tsushima if you set it during the events that lead up to the Meiji Restoration and make it a Team Ninja game. It's very fun. But the reason I am mentioning this or making a video is one, I'm currently waiting for my new desktop computer to be delivered. And yeah, my old computer of 6 years died on me this past Saturday. It kept getting stuck in this constant loop of like repair or whatnot. It's like a software issue. Anyway, the reason I'm making the video, aside from just needing something to do while I wait, it's like waiting for the cable guy back in the day, is because Sony has apparently implemented this new condition, in particular on digital games, and this is indeed a digital game. So apparently, and it's online mainly, right? It's it's all over Twitter. But basically, what Sony has done. Let me just click out of this for a second. Just clicking it back to the Sony main screen. Oh, come on, where are you? Come on, there we go. Go down. There we go. Home. Go there. So basically, what Sony has apparently done now is that they have put in, and they say that it's starting with digital games that were purchased March of this year and moving forward. Now, I will admit I have not seen this on any digital games that I have purchased yet. But then again, all the digital games that I bought in February of this year or earlier, because many of them are games that I purchased on PS4, right? So I haven't seen it personally yet, but other people have been reporting on it, and I've seen from reputable sources that basically Sony has implemented basically a 30-day timer, right, for DRM, right, Digital Rights Management. It's basically a 30-minute timer. At the moment, it's based on whether or not your PlayStation is connected to the internet. Right, so basically what's going on is this. Games, digital games in particular, I do think in time this will spread to downloads and DLC and updates that even apply to physical games like Fatal Fury. Like I have the box right here, I have the physical copy. Come on, computer. There you go. See, I have the physical copy of Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, which is a very fun game, by the way. I enjoy it a lot better than Street Fighter 6. That's just me, but I have the physical edition here. And the reason you see it here is because I have the disc in the machine. But I think eventually, move it. But I think eventually what's going to happen is that, well, let me explain what's happening right now. So I know I'm kind of all over the place, I'm sorry. What's going on is that basically, from what I've read, and from what others have shown and confirmed online, Sony has decided to more or less put a 30-day timer on whether or not you are connected to the internet. And what's happening is that from March of this year moving forward, at least to start, it's basically that your PlayStation 5 has to be connected to the internet at least once a month, right? And what happens is that if you don't connect to the internet at least once a month, and any game that you purchase digitally from March of this year moving forward basically will be inaccessible to you. You'll basically have to check in with Sony. Right? This is they're basically treating you like you're on parole, and they're your parole officer. You'll have to check in with Sony. You have to check in with them to basically verify that, yes, you're still here, so that you can get access back for your games, right? So you can actually play them again. So imagine if something terrible happened and for some reason I was not able to play Rise of the Ronin, right? Let's assume that I purchased it in March. I didn't, but let's just assume I did, right? And my internet's down for a month, right? Life happens, you can't pay the bill, or you're moving, or whatever it is. It takes a while to get internet back on. I would not be able to play the game, right? I wouldn't be able to play something that I purchased until I basically checked in with Sony and showed them that yes, my PS5 is active and it's online, and it's connected to the internet and all this other stuff, right? That's the issue with it. They are basically treating you like you are on parole and you must check in with them like they are your parole officer. And while they say that this just applies to digital games from March of this year moving forward, I don't believe them. I think that's where they're starting. They're going to start with those games, and if they continue, I think it's going to eventually apply to any sort of digital media, meaning games that you purchased digitally prior to 2000, prior to March of this year. So even a game that maybe you purchased digitally 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I think if they continue with this, because to be fair, they just rolled this out, but I think if they continue with it, if they don't cave to the online backlash, that they'll eventually apply this, because digital is digital, right? They'll eventually apply this to all digital media, regardless of when you, the consumer, purchased it. And let's be clear, they're not doing this because they're trying to protect you from digital theft or piracy or anything of that nature where it protects your purchase. This isn't about protecting you, it is about them controlling you. Because apparently, excuse me, apparently Sony thinks that the internet exists the same way air does, meaning that it's just this thing that's always there, always around, right? That never goes away, no matter what happens to a human life or in the human world, right? Whereas those of us who live in this thing called reality understand that you can lose the internet for a variety of reasons, be it things like you just can't afford it, money gets tight, you've got to choose between rent money or food and the internet, or natural disasters, weather issues. I mean, think about it. In the U.S. alone, right, we have tornado season in several states. I could tell you here in New York, especially during the summer, and summer's right around the corner. It wasn't uncommon when I was growing up, even in like the mid-2000s, to have blackouts, right? Blackouts, brownouts. Just last year we had the LA wildfires that literally burned down the Palisades, right? We've had, storms devastate Hawaii, storms devastate Puerto Rico, and that's just here in the U.S. You look at other parts of the world where there are socioeconomic issues, where there's geopolitical issues, oppressive governments that limit and will flat out just cut off internet access if they feel that their people are not getting the proper information, that supports the regime. We have these things called war across the world, both the conflicts we hear about and the many more that we don't. And then, there's this thing that war causes called forced relocation, right? Refugees. And again, the last thing on their mind when you're literally fleeing for your life is whether or not your internet connection is stable. Right, so apparently Sony doesn't think about these very real issues that happen to people, sadly, a fair amount. Right, it's not an uncommon thing to lose internet for several days or even a few weeks, especially if you're dealing with these major issues like having to relocate. You're dealing with, again, bills or whatever it is, right? I mean, I had to move last year into this current apartment that I'm currently sitting in, and that just took like 10 days, and even then my internet was down for several days because I was moving, right? I'm moving from one place to the other. I gotta cut off the internet in one place. I gotta turn on to the other. It takes days. It takes time, right? So these are very real things that people have to deal with, and Sony just thinks that the internet exists the same way air does, even though internet, historically is even maybe 50, 60 years old, and certainly not the version of the internet that we all know today, right? Being able to purchase something off the internet is only maybe at best 20, 25 years old, if that. Still a very, very, very new thing. And yet they act as if it's always been around and never is subject to, very real situations in people's lives where they have to make choices, or even situations that they have no say in, but that they've got to deal with, right? So there's your first issue. And I've seen some folks online saying, well, if you have to worry about internet, you've got bigger issues to worry about. And it's like a fair point. At the same time, though, that does not give Sony the right to basically be your virtual parole officer and demand that you check in with them and verify yourself just to play the video games that you legally purchased from the PlayStation Store, from the PlayStation Network. And the network itself has at times been down for days or sometimes weeks. I saw somebody, I think it was Christina Tasty online. She mentioned how back in I think it was 2011 or 2010, 2011, PSN, PlayStation Network, was down for 3 weeks, nearly a month. You think that couldn't happen again? Especially with cyber hacking and all these type of things? Or just a blackout, just power goes out. At wherever, the servers crash or whatever it is. These things happen. These are not things that are just so unconscionable that it would never happen. These are things you have to worry about, and yet here is Sony trying to more or less dictate to you how you can game. I'm of the opinion that they need to get rid of this DRM thing, because it's not about benefiting you. It is not about benefiting the consumer or protecting you from theft. It is about their corporate greed, right? And I also think that they're eventually going to use DLC. I'll give you a perfect example. I've got Fatal Fury here, right? Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, the physical game. But to get, 1 second. I know I'm just rambling about, I apologize, but to get DLC, right? As you can see, there's Wolfgang Krauser, right? Who's the newest DLC character that dropped a few days ago, right? And when I put the game in, I think it was this past weekend. I put the game in. I put the disc in, right? I put the disc in, but. And then the game automatically downloads it, right? It automatically downloads updates. It automatically downloads DLC. I also, a few weeks ago, I was playing Undisputed, the boxing game, and I purchased several DLC to complete the roster. And again, when I played that, guess what? You put the disc in, but the updates, the DLC, that's digital, and it gets applied once the game is in, right? So guess what happens? What I think is going to happen eventually. They're not going to do it immediately. But I think what eventually is going to happen is that they're going to use DLC, and they're going to use updates, because you don't buy an additional disc with all the DLC and updates to update a physical game, right? You just put the game in and you purchase the DLC, or they just automatically apply the updates once you're playing the game again. So I think what's eventually going to happen is that they're going to apply this timer even to physical games via the digital downloads, right? Via DLC, via updates, and then suddenly one day you're going to be playing Fatal Fury, Capcom versus SNK 2, or whatever physical games you have, and suddenly you're going to find that there's a timer, and then you're going to be wondering, how the hell did I get a timer when this game is physical? Because the DLC and the updates were not physical. That's what I think. Right, there is no proof at present that they're doing that. I just think that that is what they will do in time. Right? That's what I think they will do in time. That's just me. I hope to be wrong. I hope to be wrong. I just don't think that I will be wrong. I do think that's what's going to happen. Basically, I think that they're going to get around the whole physical game because people are like, buy physical, buy physical. I want to be clear. I'm not against buying physical. I have physical games. I have digital games. I've experienced the pros and cons of both. I've had corrupted files. I've literally had everything burned down. So I've experienced the ups and downs of having both digital media and physical media. If you want to buy more physical media, I say more power to you. I am not going to tell you not to do that. And if you're still comfortable with digital, that is fine. I'm not going to tell you not to purchase it. I just will say be careful. Because whether it's physical or whether it's digital, these companies are incredibly greedy. And they're going to do everything they can to more or less control you because they don't see you as a customer anymore. They see you as a living, breathing wallet. And that's the problem. Right? They have reached levels of corporate greed that can only be matched by Hollywood. This is no longer just regular industry concerns of making money and being able to pay bills and pay your employees, standard, regular concerns of that nature. This is about squeezing everything out of you and more or less controlling you. This is what is the way I view it. Because again, there's absolutely no benefit from this 30-day timer thing for your PS5, for your modern day system to be on the internet. It is of no benefit to you, but it is of every benefit to them. So, in closing, because I know I've been rambling for about 17 minutes now, I'm of the opinion that if you want to do digital, do digital. If you want to do physical, do physical. What I will say, though, is that if you truly want to not have to deal with this, go retro. Go very retro. Go, depending on which system, I'm going to use my Sega, obviously, but also PlayStation, because those are the ones that I've had most of my life. Right? So in my opinion, if you really want to protect yourself from this, get yourself at least one retro system that has never needed internet connection. So PS2, PS1, Super NES, Sega, Atari, whatever it is, right? Or the original Xbox, whatever it is, whatever your system of choice, your retro system of choice is, I would say, just to be safe, get yourself at least one retro system and some of them retro games, right? Because guess what? If it needs to be on the internet, even like with PS3, right, that had internet connectivity. It wasn't as necessary as it is now, but it was there. So if you want to avoid all of this, internet mumbo jumbo and having to check in with Sony, I say get at least one system that never needed internet, that only ever needed a game and a power source. So, and again, I'm not saying you shouldn't play your modern video games or your modern systems. Play them. Enjoy them. Just understand, if you're tired of Sony or other companies like Xbox or whatnot trying this, because I remember reading that Xbox or Microsoft really tried this about 10 years ago and people yelled at them and they stopped. Right? But whether it's Sony, whether it's Xbox, Microsoft, or whatever, Nintendo, if you want to avoid the stressors of all this internet mumbo jumbo, take it back to 1992. Well, anyway, that's just me. That's just my thoughts. Hope you're all having a good day, and this has been a nice way for me to get some thoughts out of my head as I wait for my new computer. You gotta love it when things just die on you and then cost hundreds of dollars to replace. But anyway, hope you all are doing well, and if you're not, I hope things get better. See you around. Bye.